the IDF is using artificial intelligence to carry out its rampage in Lebanon. Cenk, your 2 cents.
Yeah, so it's harrowing, this level of terrorism and Big Brother that Israel and Palantir invented. But the most harrowing part is that they're planning to bring it here to America. So here's the story.
So the most important takeaway here is to understand that AI is being utilized to carry out strikes that oftentimes end up killing civilians because the technology isn't perfect, it makes mistakes, and despite its mistakes, the IDF keeps using it. So for the AI system to work, the Israelis need data. So in order to get that data, the IDF siphons it from the smartphones of Lebanese citizens, security cameras, traffic cameras, Wi-Fi signals, drones, and government databases along with social media. So this so-called intelligence gathering has been taking place for years. The IDF utilizes that data for an algorithm to create a threat profile of people currently living in Lebanon. In other words, whether or not a person is, in the case of Israel, determining whether or not an individual is a member of Hezbollah, which is their whole cover story for being in southern Lebanon to begin with. So Palantir's Maven then provides at least part of the technology that helps the IDF sift through all of this data that they've collected to then turn it into a threat profile. So be very clear about this. Palantir has been profiting off of these atrocities, has been profiting off of war. This is what they love, this is what they do. Now, the algorithm picks up on people's proximity to villages that largely support Hezbollah, which, despite what you might have heard about Hezbollah here in US media, is a legitimate established political group and party in southern Lebanon. They have a stronghold in southern Lebanon. The algorithm also picks up on people's day-to-day routines and how it changes over time, as well as whether or not people have known family members in Hezbollah. But they're often wrong because AI is not perfect, it makes mistakes. In fact, one AI specialist told the LA Times, which reported this story, that these systems use data, not logic, to determine if someone is dangerous. And if that information is flawed, then it would keep repeating the same mistakes, but faster and with more confidence, based on the flawed data. And that it creates this illusion of certainty, and that's dangerous because it turns correlation into action, meaning strikes, bombings, things like that, without having the necessary context. And these types of technologies tend to make their way here to the United States, where they're often utilized by local law enforcement. And that's something you should be concerned about, Cenk.
Yeah, so guys, there was a couple of the parts of this story that are just shocking to the core. So first off, this guy that they tracked said there was basically a drone flying above him at almost all times. So they tracked his face, etc., and they know what his story is. And his story is actually that he's a little bit older now, this particular guy that LA Times tracked in this story. And so he's retired and he helps people with their destroyed homes and buildings, and he helps clear that out. But the AI algorithm has said, well, it doesn't matter. He has some connection to Hezbollah. And so if he has any connection to Hezbollah, according to our algorithm, he should be murdered, okay? And so this is how the AI program is picking out targets. And then at the end, he gets a call from the Israelis in broken Arabic, and they ask him, would you like to die alone or with your entire family? And so he says alone and hangs up and starts walking out of the house. And his wife is trying to stop him, his family's trying to stop him, but he knows if he doesn't get out of the house, the Israeli terrorists are going to murder his entire family. Or that's at least what he suspects. So he gets in his car, starts driving, and within 30 seconds, boom, a bomb murders him. He was right. If he had stayed in the house, the Israelis would have killed his children, his wife, and everyone else in the house. They have a program also related to this same type of AI that they used in Gaza called Where's Daddy? And so the same type of AI to track, well, we think it came from that cell phone tower. We think it came from a related cell phone, and that person is connected to someone else who might be connected to Hamas. Good enough, because Israel's looking to kill as many people as possible. They just need the smallest thread connecting them to Hamas or Hezbollah. 6 degrees of Hamas is what they played in Gaza, and now they're doing that in Lebanon with Hezbollah. So they wait for that person that AI is selected to come home in Gaza, and then they kill his entire family. They could have killed him earlier, but it's called Where's Daddy because they want that person to go home and murder his children along with him.
Yeah, most moral army, right?
Yeah, so if you know those, if you don't know those things, I get it. And mainstream media normally does an excellent job, an overwhelming job of keeping those facts from you because they wouldn't want you to, turn against their beloved Israel, who they serve loyally. Now, in this case, LA Times, terrific story. And so I appreciate it. Whenever anybody in corporate media does a good job, we give them credit. So thank you for bringing us this story. And of course, one of the most troubling parts is that's Palantir. Larry Ellison has bragged about how they're gonna bring that kind of surveillance here. So, and they tell us, no, because of our AI systems, our algorithms will find anyone who is doing something that the Israeli government thinks is wrong, and then God help you.
And what's concerning is that we have a government that has no interest in representing our best interests at all, whether it has to do with foreign policy or domestic policy. Things like regulation when it comes to emerging technological advancements like AI. And in this next clip, you're gonna hear Joe Lonsdale, who loves AI, is involved in the development of AI, doesn't want regulations though, and gives you a sense of why our government behaves the way it does. Let's take a look.
We're all trying to figure out what this could look like. Is there ultimately going to be an FDA for AI models? And as is that a good thing or a bad thing for somebody who's thinking the way you do?
Listen, the FDA has killed millions of people. Let's be totally clear, right? So that there's
killed.
It's literally led to the deaths of millions of people. There probably should be some national agreement on regulation on new powerful models. It should be as small and as narrow as possible. You should not have the same bureaucracy. You should make sure the government from the start has metrics on the speed at which it has to go and the transparency, because you're gonna have cronyism. You're gonna have the big guys capture it. You're gonna slow it down. Pharma loves the FDA against biotech. It makes it too expensive for us to build our own pharma companies. We have to sell to them. This is what the big guys want.
Oh wow, the co-founder of Palantir wants as little regulation as possible when it comes to systems that are currently being utilized in foreign countries to target and kill people, oftentimes civilians and their entire families. Great.
So guys, we could say don't tread on me and we could have our AK-47 in the woods and stuff, but once they track you, it's over. They're just gonna kill you with a drone. So the surveillance state is definitely coming here. Like, will they start murdering people in the streets? Certainly not in day one or year one, but will they start tracking all of us and start making lists, and dubious lists, because it's not they. They say in the LA Times article, in the past, this would have taken thousands of man hours and research, and they would have bothered to try to get it right. Now they don't really care too much if it's right or wrong, and it's done in seconds. So this level of big brother is definitely headed in our direction. And guess who's paying all of our politicians? Not just Israel. All the lobbies do, including Palantir, including AI, including the tech bros. And our politicians are the scum of the earth. They're the least moral people in the country. They will sell you out in a flat second for money from a donor, any donor. So we're all screwed unless we change the system immediately. You've got to get the money out. If you don't get money out of politics, then these guys are just gonna buy all of our corrupt politicians, and we're gonna live under this surveillance, terroristic surveillance state very soon. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.